The last harvest. The farmland stretched endlessly, golden wheat swaying in the evening wind while crickets sang into the fading light. It was a quiet place, the kind that should have felt peaceful. But not tonight. Raito and Shiro had been sent to investigate the strange disappearances that haunted this rural town. Entire families had vanished without a trace, meals left uneaten on their tables, lamps still glowing in empty houses. Only one clue had been given to them by the weary sheriff: it happens when the wheat turns red. At first, they dismissed it as superstition, folklore, but as they walked into the vast field, the stalks around them shimmered in the twilight, and one by one, they turned blood red. The air grew heavy, pressing against their chests. The crickets went silent. Somewhere deep within the field, a low hum began to vibrate through the soil. Shiro knelt and touched the ground, only to jerk his hand back in horror. "This isn't soil," he whispered. "It's wet, almost like skin." Before Raito could answer, the wheat stalks bent toward them, as though listening. The red deepened, pulsing with life. Then the earth lurched, swallowing Shiro's leg up to the knee. He screamed as the ground tightened around him. Raito grabbed his arms, pulling hard, but the soil beat like a living heart, dragging him deeper. From beneath the earth came a whisper, not in any language they knew, but old and hungry. With a final desperate heave, Raito pulled Shiro free, and the two stumbled deeper into the field, searching for the source of the horror that gripped the land. That's when they saw it. A massive scarecrow loomed in the center of the field. But it wasn't straw that held it together, it was people. Dozens of bodies, their faces frozen in eternal screams, stitched together with strands of wheat. Its head turned slowly toward them, and the stitched lips began to move. "You're late, for the harvest." Raito's blood ran cold. "Harvest? Of what?" The scarecrow's grin widened. "Of you." The creature began to drag itself forward, its limbs scraping against the earth. Wherever it passed, the wheat turned crimson, writhing like snakes in its wake. Shiro clutched his head and cried out, collapsing to his knees. "Raito, I can hear them. Voices. Memories that aren't mine." Raito knelt beside him, horror dawning in his eyes. "It's planting itself inside us. It's not harvesting crops. It's harvesting thoughts." The truth hit like a blade to the chest. The missing villagers weren't gone. They were here, bound to the field, their minds feeding the scarecrow's endless hunger. "No," Shiro whispered. "They never escaped. They became part of it." The scarecrow advanced, its body groaning with the weight of stolen souls. Raito's jaw tightened. He ripped off his gloves and thrust his hands into the red wheat. "If it lives in the soil," he said through clenched teeth, "then we burn the soil." Shiro's voice shook. "If you do that, it'll take you too." Raito gave a faint, grim smile. "Then I'll just have to be faster." Light exploded from his palms, searing through the roots beneath the ground. Flames roared across the farmland, and the wheat screamed, high, piercing cries that tore through the night. The scarecrow convulsed, its stitched faces wailing in agony before the bodies blackened, collapsing into a mound of ash. When the fire died, the field was nothing but ruin. Black earth. Charred silence. Shiro turned to Raito, his voice barely above a whisper. "Do you think we saved them?" Raito stared into the rising smoke. For a fleeting moment, he thought he saw faces within it, faint, gentle smiles, before they dissolved into nothing. "Maybe," he said quietly. "Or maybe we only gave them rest." Together, they walked away as the first light of dawn broke across the horizon. Behind them stretched a barren wasteland, where nothing would ever grow again.